Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, anglers of all ages, what's happening, my friends? It is great to see you today. We're doing something a little different, a little special. As you can see, we're three floating heads at the moment. Uh, Today is it's the first dev stream that I've been able to host with these incredible gentlemen, and we're going to jump into it. We're going to ask some questions. We're going to go through some stuff, have a little bit of a chat. So thank you all for joining us, and without too much beating around the bush, as you can see, you recognize one of these gentlemen. I'm not sure if they've met yourself yet, Gaz, but why don't we go through a quick little introduction? Rushy, we'll start with yourself because I know a lot of folks have already met you. Who are you? What do you do?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Rushy. Hello, or you can call me Paul if you want, Paul Jansky, and I'm the game director on the Angler. And I guess in terms of my responsibility now is I'm looking after the game and the live service and making sure we meet the needs of the community now going forward.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, it's great to have you here, man. Thank you for taking the time. I know you guys have a lot on your plate. We've seen how much you've had on your plate and how that plate has helped all of us out. Mr. Gaz, who are you? What do
Hello.
you do, sir?
Hello, folks. Nice to meet you all. I'm Gaz. I'm the lead producer on The Angler, and it's my job to essentially help all of these really talented people like Rushy and the rest of the dev team. I'm kind of like making sure the game ticks along, just the scheduling, all things like that, making sure the patches get out, and all that fun stuff. But I'm mainly just making sure things are ticking along while all these talented folks do all the hard work.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And as I mentioned, we have seen the fruit of your labors. And how many patches now? I believe it's been 5 since the game has released.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is right. Five patches.
We've been busy, let's say.
We have.
We've we wanted to react to a lot of the feedback. We saw what everyone said when the game launched, and we wanted to make sure that all those concerns, any criticisms, are being actively addressed. Obviously, we would have loved every single comment to be positive, but there's always going to be criticism, and some of it has been fantastically constructive and detailed. And we've been kind of working through all that and trying to make sure that the fixes are going in and the quality of life improvements are taking place, and then obviously making sure we're planning kind of the bigger, juicier features for down the line as well, for things that you guys want.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, that's actually a good opening to one of the first questions that I wanted to ask you guys here. And just for everybody in chat, by all means, throw your questions in. If we have time, we'll maybe be able to ask some of them, but we're on a limited time frame here. We're going to try and get through as much as we can. Time zones, they're such a pain. So we put together a few things that we want to chat about and questions that the community has answered or asked, I should say. And let's just start with a few of them here. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on the early negativity seen in reviews and some elements of feedback? What have you done? What are you doing to address this feedback?
Well, I think we've kind of covered the second half of the question a little bit there, where, as in, we've been able to get 5 patches out since launch. We try to react as quickly as humanly as possible, and focusing on the feedback. We've updated the water a number of times. We've got more changes coming down the line as well for that. We've been investigating some of the core criticisms around the fishing experience and making sure we've got 101 things on a list, and we're working through them all, prioritizing them, and bringing them into the game as quick as we possibly can. And we want to continue doing this. Those regular updates, not just kind of those quick patches after launch, but these bigger, meatier ones down the line as well. So we know we didn't get the perfect reaction at launch, but we're confident that we can continue to work directly with everyone's feedback and make this game that everyone wants it to be.
It's great hearing you say that. I got to be honest. One of the things that and we mentioned this just earlier before we went live, guys, with the most recent patch that came out, the overwhelming support from the community on it. One little change to fish behavior made it just such a different feel when you're out there. So kudos.
That was really awesome feedback to get from the community, because it lets the team know that we're on the right tracks and we're aiming to fix and to update and improve the right things. As Rusty mentioned, it wasn't ideal, the sort of early feedback we got, but I know the team are determined more than ever to improve the game as much as possible. And now we know we've got a bunch of feedback from the community. We listen to absolutely everything that goes onto the Discord and the various other channels from feedback. Each one of them is logged by our QA team. All of their improvements and the game suggestions are all logged on our various systems. But essentially, we wanted to launch the game so that we could find out what the community wanted to do, because the game is going to be driven by you folks. So it was not the ideal to get that feedback, but it was good over the last couple of weeks to feel like we're starting to improve on it and also heading in the right direction.
Fantastic. I honestly, I think it's a sign of the dedication from the team. The feedback, you know, getting all that and in all the places where we received it, and then what we do with it. Round of applause, seriously, to all of the crew over there in Liverpool. You guys have been amazing with this. So there's an elephant in the room, and I know it's a tough one to answer, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask it, because everybody's asking daily. When will we have more information to share about a console release?
And this is a tricky question, because we have been saying it's coming to console and it will be coming soon, but then it doesn't really make it clear as to when. You know, the key things are we are actively working on it, and we have been working on the console ports for the past few months as well. We're making good progress, but we want to make sure we hit the right quality bar. And of consoles, as everyone knows, it takes a little bit longer because you've got the stricter certification processes that you have to go through to get it out. So at the moment, we don't have a date to show with you right now. You know, we want to make sure that we're nearly finished before we announce it. We don't want to be in that situation, as we've seen with so many games, where they announce a date and then it slips or changes. We want to make sure we're entirely confident in the products meeting the standards that you guys want before we actually announce. So as soon as we possibly can, as soon as we know a date, we will share it with you.
If we give you a date, Martin would never let us back on these streams again. So we would love to tell you, but all we can say is that we're making great strides. It's getting better and better each day with all the work that's happening. But as soon as we can give you a better date, we definitely will start feeding that information through.
Fantastic. Well said. I know that's a tough one to answer in chat. I know so many of you ask this on the regular, and we appreciate that passion. We truly, genuinely do. But as you can see, it's. I think really the underlying writing here is we don't want to put something out and not meet that expectation, right? I get that. Yeah. Tough one. So glad to get that out of the way, because we get it daily. Is this
going to get easier? We're going to get easier questions as we go through it.
I'm sorry. Oh,
so good.
Are we having technical difficulties? Should we hit the?
Yeah.
All right. Well, they do actually get a little easier, but you know, a couple questions. This one I find very interesting, and gentlemen, I would love to know, in your personal opinions, what's been the biggest challenge to overcome since launch?
For me, one of the biggest challenges has definitely been trying to ensure that we're listening to all the feedback. There's so many channels. There's Discord, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, etc. And there's a lot being said about the game, and it's making sure that we're able to listen to all those voices, and we want to make sure that the updates are genuinely reacting to what's being said. So being able to bring all that together, triage it, prioritize it, and then push it out, it's been very hard to kind of balance that, you know, whilst trying to keep a live product going as well at the same time. So, you know, if you feel like you're not being heard, don't worry. We're listening to everything that's being said. You know, even the guy who's asking for a Decture to be added to the game, we are hearing.
Axeman, we're listening. Don't worry, we're going to get you that share. One day.
No comment gets ignored.
Are you out there, Axeman? It's Axeman out there right now. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. And I think one thing to add to that, one of the biggest challenges from my side of things has been we've been trying to balance the feedback and quality of life fixes and bug fixes with also building new features as well. So it's a combination between fixing as much as we can and improving things, but also wanting to get these cool new features out for people to play so the game feels more alive, and there's lots of new things to do in the game. So it's a balancing act between those two things. So we have content constantly coming over the live service.
Because it's easy to forget that there's so many streams of work that's going on. There's the reacting to feedback, there's the new features, there's the new content that we're working on, there's the console ports. There's all these things, and it's just, again, trying to prioritize and work on them all. And everything's being done at once. It's just pushing the resources into the right place at the right time to try and keep, all you guys happy.
It makes complete sense. And I personally, I know a lot of you in chat, and we get an opportunity to talk. You guys see this, I hope, on the regular, the comments and stuff that go into Discord, the feedback. And this is, it's great to hear you guys talking about this, because I'm not sure that everybody realizes just how community driven we are, and seeing and hearing this directly from the devs. I'm looking at you, chat. It's fantastic, and honestly, it's one of the things I love about being here with the company. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, I see so many questions coming through, guys. We'll do our best to if we have time, but we are in a little bit of a pinch. But I'm watching and I'm reading. It's so good to see you all here. And I see Albert out in chat and all of our mods. Thank you very much, my friends, for helping us here. All right. Well, you kind of you mentioned a little bit. You sort of touched base. Where do you guys see the Angler going over the course of, say, the next year?
Well, we do have an internal roadmap of features and content, and all that stuff is in mind. But one of the things we've always said about our support for this game is that anything we plan, put down on paper, needs to be flexible, needs to be agile, we need to be reactive. It means we change the plans based upon everyone's needs. And I've noticed we just lost Gaz on the video feed. Are you coming back?
No, it's okay. Sorry, we've got a problem with the light. Technical difficulties. I'm still here though.
But yeah, we have lots of plans for features, content, online activities. And if we put them in just a list, they would fill the next few years. But at the same time, it's all about just reviewing and prioritizing those plans over time and making sure we're kind of meeting the needs. I'm not quite sure how much more detail we can go into on the specifics, but we've got tons of support. We want these regular updates, regular content drops, and just making sure that there's always something new to do inside the game.
Yeah. And as Rushy said, there's a bunch of different features that we can make and add to the game. But it's working with the community and you folks to figure out which ones we do next, which ones you want to see the most of. Because essentially we want to make the game as good as we can for everyone playing it. But we can't do everything at once, as Rushy said. But it's working with you guys on the forums and the game suggestions, see which ones are popular, see which ones are realistic, what we can get out in such a certain amount of time. Because some things are going to take way longer to do than other things. So yeah, it's just working with the community to see which are the most popular ones, which will add the most to the game, and which ones are going to be the best for players to play, really.
Well said. Well said. And everybody in chat, I can't stress enough, and we say this often, but getting into the Discord and using the suggestions channel, reading through there and seeing what others have written, upvote it. It lets us see what's, and I know you guys are in there like hawks, taking a look to see what everybody's on and what's everybody thinking about. Steam as well has been, really, really good for us all. So get out there, guys, if you want your voice heard, if you want to really help us in what you want to see, that's the route to go. Well,
yeah, definitely.
I don't know if there's much you could say about this one. I have to ask. So we know there's been little rumors floating around the community, but could you tell us anything about the first update?
Game update 1, yes, it's on its way. It's not too far away. But before I say anything about it, is that it isn't finished yet. We are working on it right now. All the team are working very hard to bring you this next update. It's close. So anything I say right now could change. All subject to change until it's locked down.
Fair.
Yeah,
fair.
But as you know, if you've read the patch notes from 105, where the 1.1 is targeting end of the month, beginning of November. So in the next 2 to 3 weeks, this will come out, and it will bring a mixture of, there'll be some new features, there'll be some fresh new content, and a range of quality of life updates as well. So we've got a good mix in this one. It's definitely a beefier one than a lot of the updates we've pushed since launch. So one of the primary things we want to do with this update, though, is give you more goals to work towards. I think you may have noticed a little hint or teaser, I guess, in the patch notes, which might give you an idea of the sort of thing we might be trying to do. And we want to make sure there's some new rewards and stuff to earn as well as part of that. And we also want to add a few more online elements in there as well to feel a bit more connected, so you can kind of see what's going on within the reserve a little bit better. And yeah, I think we've got a good balance of new features and content this time. I think you're going to really going to like this one.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and that's in addition to some quality of life updates, some more bug fixes, and just general improvements to the game. But yeah, this is our big first feature, new stuff to do in the game. So it's going to be really exciting to see what you folks think of it when it comes out.
Well, that is great. You're getting me excited. I got to be honest. Now, I know that was a tough one. I like Chad's sitting here right now. I'm like, come on, there's only so much we can ask, because as you can see, we can't, give away too much. But you guys heard it here first. It's not very far away, and that's pretty cool. Oh man. Well, I hope these are getting easier, guys. I really do. Can you tell us anything about the planned content we may see soon? I know this is tying into that last question, and it's a tough one, and I hate to put you on the spot, but folks are asking.
I think we can give a few hints. Again, not too many specifics, but we are already working on the next big update after this as well. So we do have more in store. Can't say when. But obviously we want to roll out these big updates as quickly and as regularly as we possibly can. But you can and should expect, more locations to fish at. We're not going to be in Golden Ridge Reserve forever. We are absolutely going to be adding more fish species to catch. That's 100%. We've got to do that. There will be new fishing techniques down the line. Again, can't say what, but we are working on them. And of course, there'll be more content, more cosmetics. And making sure that that all of these are prioritized based upon your feedback and what you're saying to us. So, as Neil said, keep those comments coming, keep voting those suggestions, because these are really influencing that roadmap.
Yeah, I wish I could say more, but as soon as I start speaking, I'm going to start saying things that because I'm really excited about to get these features out, and there's a couple that I think are going to be really popular amongst the community, which are due. Obviously, we've got this next patch, but then the one after that, I think there's going to be even more cool features in. So I wish I could talk more about them now, but when marketing team let us talk more about them on future streams, we'll definitely be sharing more fun stuff with you. But there's lots of cool things coming to this game. That's why I'm so excited over the next couple of weeks and months. So should be good.
I'm taking notes here. Make sure to get the all clear and invite you guys back as soon as possible. Welcome to my world. I'm out with these folks every week, and I'm always, and I can neither confirm nor deny. It's become a statement for a reason. Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. It is really something for us all to look forward to, and it is exciting. I know there's our core players that are out there every day in the Discord. And I see them around the community. They're going to be the first to absolutely lose their mind over this stuff. So, all right, we're going to move along here. I got another one for you, and I was wondering, and this is tough. Maybe can I put you on the spot like this? I'm not so sure I can. You know what? This is when you can magically have issues with your screen here and things cut out. But if each of you could choose one addition to the game, what would that be?
I've got two.
I've
got two things. Okay, so the first one is coming in game update 1 in a couple of weeks' time, as we've mentioned. This is the one thing I wanted in the game as soon as we can. So again, apologies, I can't tell you what it is right now, but it's that thing that we're talking about. it's that thing. That's mine. And the number 2 is the foldable chair that Axeman wants. That's what I wanted in the game. I'm going to push the art team to try and get this chair in. They're the two things that I would mention.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, there's 101 things that I'd like to add, but I guess let's take some more blue sky ideas. Some things that maybe we might be able to do, but a lot further down the line. We've seen the ideas, for example, about aquariums or player lodge. And I'd love to do something along those lines. Be a great way to showcase the catches that you've made, and I mean, maybe that's something we can do, but obviously no promises at this stage. But that would be a dream feature for me to bring to the game if we could.
That's very hopeful hearing that stuff. I know these are things that we hear all the time in the community, and I know that's not a fair question to ask. That was a tough one. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, it's a fair question, but as Rushy mentioned there's a difference between my need of getting a foldable chair in the game and an entire lodge and sort of system. So that's the kind of small tasks and big tasks that we were talking about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, so we've actually gotten through a lot of what I wanted to speak to you gentlemen about and kind of put out there, but we have a list of questions, and these are ones that have come from the community, the ones that we've observed through the Discord, on Steam, and we may have touched base on some of these, but we're going to put them out there, and we'll see. Some might be difficult to answer, but it just for all of our folks at home watching, let's cover a few of these here. So, in addition to potential DLCs, are there plans to add free content to the game, like to Golden Ridge Reserve?
Yes is the answer. That's a very easy one.
Yeah. Okay.
We really want to make sure that players who bought into the game on day one get the most, for what they've invested into the game. That people can hopefully play in Golden Ridge Reserve for many more months to come, because we will be adding new free features and new free content and different ways to play the game. So yes, we want to keep the game feeling fresh, even if you don't potentially buy any of the other premium content that might come down the line.
Some of this free content may even be in the next upcoming patch, possibly in a couple of weeks.
Technical difficulties.
Disappeared. Who knows?
Very good. Wow. Go, guys. Okay, here's a tough one. And because there's different perceptions on the game. I think, some folks, they're more the hardcore players, some are more the casual, and it makes for a real difficult decision from a game design perspective. But how does the team decide to balance realistic versus an arcade fishing experience?
This has been a tough challenge throughout Dev, because you're trying to accommodate for both audiences. You want everyone to play and enjoy your game ultimately. I think what we always said about the game, we always wanted to make sure it felt authentic, but always kind of remaining accessible. We wanted people who don't necessarily to play fishing games to give this fishing game a go, because we made it, in this open world with the freedom to fish how you want. And maybe we need to push a little bit more simulation or realism inside that. We've seen the comments and feedback, and I think there's definitely a few areas where we can add a few options or a few tweaks here and there to definitely make sure that both sets of the audiences are satisfied.
Yeah, I think just touching on that, I think one thing we have noticed, the strike indicator. Yes, we've heard you. We've heard people saying about that, and we're looking at different ways of implementing that. Looking at maybe changing the UI, maybe giving options, because those type of options might be good for new players to the genre, but for the more enthusiastic players who are way more experienced, they want a little bit more realism in the way they play. So we're literally looking into ways of resolving that and offering many options, so players and the community can tailor the game to play the way they want it. So expect updates and improvements on that in the near future.
Very nice. Well, you guys did good there. That was a tough one. So here's another one we hear a lot. We get asked a lot because our sister game from the same company, we have the Hunter, which has been long established, and originally people were, let's add fishing to the Hunter, and obviously we couldn't do that just for all of the mechanics and everything that's involved. So the questions have now turned to are there plans to add wildlife to the angler? To what extent? These are just the questions we see regularly. What do you guys think about that? Is that something we could see?
I'd love to see it happen. definitely, because it's one of the things we've seen from the feedback, and it's something internally as well. We say we want to add more life to the world. Obviously, we try to create a connected experience with the multiplayer side of the game, where you can see other people fishing and exploring, but at the same time, there's not a great deal of wildlife. We've done our best in terms of we've got birds and we've got planes and things flying through the sky, but we definitely recognise it'd be great to be able to add more. I just wish it was as simple as copy and paste from the hunter and bring them in.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But it's yeah, I hope we can in the future.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a longer term thing that it might take a while to implement in terms of the bigger wildlife animals like the deers and stuff. But there is other things that we could possibly look at, and there is other things we're looking at to make the world feel a little bit more alive, as Rushy said. But yeah, from a producer's point of view, I was like, can't we just take all the animals from Call of the Wild and just put them in the game? But unfortunately, it's not that easy, and that's why I'm a producer and not a coder.
I think the most. I mean, for myself, I'm not a coder. I'm a guy with a beard on a screen. But I would say probably one of the biggest things would be that they're the same engine but different engines, right? One's an updated version.
Yeah, they're vastly different in terms of when certain teams started working on them, and there's lots of things that go into it. Lots of things that I don't understand, more technical people than me, but it is things that we are looking at, and we're looking at ways that we could possibly do this, but it just won't be a short turnaround in terms of that.
Yeah, I hear you there. Well, I think squirrels even. I think people would be happy.
Yeah.
But I can also tell you, in my experiences, when I'm out fishing in the angler, I'm not really looking to shore. I'm all eyes on the water. What's happening in front of me? Pretty cool, though. Pretty cool. What about this? I think you guys, you know, this one's been asked a lot. What about saltwater fishing? Saltwater fishing, something that is that possible? Is that what do you think?
Like most things, it's possible, but I think we've got so much more to do with freshwater fishing first. I think we've got many more fish species, more fishing techniques, and things we can do in a variety of great places around the world. So yes, I would definitely love to see saltwater fishing down the line. But again, that's another big undertaking. It's obviously there's overlap, of course, but there's still a lot of new things we'd need to do to bring that to the game. So yeah, I would like to, but yeah, we're going to definitely kind of make sure our freshwater fishing experience is the best it can possibly be before we move on.
Yeah, I think again it'll be driven by the community. If that's one of the biggest things that you folks are asking for, then that's definitely something we can look at. But as Rushy said, we've got plenty of work left to do on the current setup. That it would be one for the future. But yeah, nothing is impossible as long as people want it and it's requested. We can always pivot and have a look at that for future features.
And I think that's what's key there, folks. You heard them. If it's requested, once again, suggestion channel in the Discord, all over Steam. Your voices matter.
Yep, they definitely do.
I realize we're starting to run a little shy on time. I gotta get this one in. This is what we even had this asked over in the Hunter over the years, and it's a curious thought. But does the team have any plans to add any more hiking or camping features to the game? Even photography. What do you think?
I think there's some great opportunities with these sorts of features, definitely, because we've got this beautiful, vast open world, and we've got missions and collectibles and things to discover inside there. But I think we can definitely double down and do more in that area. So yeah, hiking, camping, photography. I think there's some great things we could do in that space. Whilst it's not something we're focusing on right now, I definitely feel like bringing those sort of elements to the game would definitely, add a lot, be a very additive thing.
Yeah, as Rushy said, we've got a bunch of missions in the game already that are not specifically around fishing, and that's not to say we couldn't make more in the future, and different types of mission based around things like photography and stuff like that. So they're all possibilities. It's just where we want to take the game and where you guys want to take the game. But for now, where we want to concentrate on the fishing side of things and get that to where we want it to be, add lots of new cool features based around that, and then once we feel like we're in a good place there, we can then start looking at outside the fishing features. And again, down to the upvotes and seeing how popular things are. Well, whatever the community wants, we're here to deliver. So,
excellent. I know a lot of folks are loving hearing this. Seriously.
Yeah.
Guys. Oh, yes. I know. I want to get to your questions. I can see so many of them coming through here in the chat. These questions, everything we're going through right now, these are pulled from our community. Questions that you guys have all been asking, and we're doing our best. So the best thing I could do, because we are running short on time, is get into the Discords, get onto Steam, give us your questions, give us your feedback. Let us have the opportunity so that when we do our next live stream here, we can line them up. We want these questions answered. And I can tell you right now, Rushy and Gaz here, they were pretty excited to get into some of these, because it's nice to be able to have that opportunity to for all of us to connect like this, right? So
yeah. I mean, we're always on Discord and keeping an eye on things, but we don't always have the opportunity to respond to every question and jump in. And obviously, we're making the game and the patches and live service where we don't always get the time to respond. But situations like these are ideal. So yeah, if we're happy to come back on and answer more questions and give more info. If marketing let me back on again, we'll see about that.
No, you
Leaking
guys
too many secrets.
You've done a great job here, and I'm making notes of everything that's been leaked, because then I'm not the only one doing it. Oh, I can see, going through all these. We've covered so many above. I'm not going to put you guys back on the spot with some of the console questions and such, but I do see something coming up in chat here, and I do think I know the answer to this, but it might be good for folks to hear it. It's a little unscripted, I apologize, but do we have any plans for, say, a Halloween event or a Christmas event coming up?
Halloween.
Tough.
Well, I think maybe with the next update, and you venture around a certain place at a certain time, maybe you might come across something.
Well, I had to put it out there. I've seen it about a dozen times since we started this stream, and I know we've already gone over. Folks, we were only doing about 30 minutes here today. It's hard to wrangle everybody all together in the time zones, and I gotta tell you guys, this has been great. I really, really appreciate you coming out like this. I know all of our folks at home do. They're telling Gaz to leave, shut the lights off.
Yeah, speaking of Halloween and spooky, my lights have just went off again. Yeah, awesome,
fantastic. Gaz, Rushy, you guys are absolute legends for everything that you've done for this game and what you're doing for the community. Thank you very much, and for coming out, and big props to the rest of the team. Seriously.
Oh, thanks, man. It's been awesome, and it's good to finally meet everyone. Hello. But yeah, no, this is really cool. So, cheers.
Yeah, it's always fun doing these, and hopefully we'll get more of the team as well coming on, and maybe talking about specifics area of the game, deep diving, maybe like some of the dev diaries that we've done. So yeah, love doing these.
Oh, I'm looking forward to those. If you guys haven't seen them, go and check out all on our channels. There's some incredible content, some behind the scene looks, yeah. Get to see more of these gentlemen. Thank you very much, everybody. Paul, Rushy, or Gaz. Jeez, Paul. Paul.
No one calls him Paul. Nobody calls him Paul. It's Rushy.
Thank you so much for coming out, and we'll have to do this again soon.
Cool. Cheers, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Everybody out in chat, thank you. We'll see you again next week on Tuesday, and back here for some more Angler next Wednesday. We'll catch you then. See you around the Discords, my friends.